Hello and welcome, ADHDers and ADHD lovers, to a long-awaited edition of the Ugly Couch Show with hosts Michael Hurd and
Stephanie!
Alright, so what are we gathered here today to talk about?
We are gathered here today in witnesses of our puppets.
Yes, I've got a puppet on my hand for some reason. It has yet to be explained to me.
Alright. To describe conflict.
Is this a conflict with puppets? Am I going to get a little mallet to whap your puppet with? Yours is too big.
Mine trumps all. No. It'll come to light later. I just like puppets.
Okay.
Partially that. We're talking about conflict in marriage because, well, we're married. See, I got a ring.
Mine's hidden underneath the tiger.
I knew there was going to be a problem with this. Alright, so, why do we have conflict with people with ADHD?
Because ADHD people just don't listen, they don't stop and think for a moment, and they dive headfirst and create their own conflict.
Alright, so, you see why I needed the puppet? It was very important. Now you all know. So, yes, we don't listen. Example, one time I was sitting in a meeting and this chick was really boring. I'm talking boring. She kept rehashing the same thing over and over and over. So, what ended up happening was I kept interrupting her over and over and over. Well, she got kind of mad.
Imagine that.
So it caused conflict. Now, how does this relate to marriage? Thoughts?
You interrupting and not listening to me?
Well, that could be it.
Yeah.
So, ways to not interrupt people. It's very difficult. One of the things that you can do, because unfortunately we have about 1,000 ideas, is write down your thoughts instead of blurting them.
Yeah.
That might help.
That probably would help.
Another thing we do, we don't always speak properly, we just shoot it out.
Yeah, it would probably be good to form complete sentences.
Yeah, Michael hates that. I want that! What's that? That! Noun!
Yes. Speak of nouns. Nouns are wonderful.
Sometimes it's hard to formulate those thoughts when you're just thinking that would be beautiful and you have halfway through a sentence. But what you could do is, one dude said, look at a light for 10 seconds and then say what you're supposed to be saying. I haven't tried it yet. Could work.
Good.
Alright, next factor. Oftentimes, we don't register all you say. Not you in particular, but the spouse.
Come on, I break the chore list into such easy-to-manage pieces.
He's talking, saying at 11 o'clock at night, you should clean your dresser. To which I answer, it's bedtime. Night-night. But he thinks I'll remember it in the morning, which I see the dresser, but it doesn't register. I don't know, how can we fix that one?
I'm not sure, I'm still working on it.
Okay, work in progress, very important. Marriage is a work in progress. Alright. Now, there are many ways we can resolve it, but a lot of the issues that we have need to be resolved in a time and place.
Yes.
Not 11 o'clock at night.
Not at 11 o'clock at night.
If you handle situations at 11 o'clock at... Yes? Thoughts?
No thoughts.
You're full of it. Say it. You're gonna keep giggling the whole time.
Hey. You're the one who put a puppet on my hand.
I did. Just to keep you entertained.
Yep.
So if you register things at 11 o'clock at night, or let's say, I'm hungry. Rawr.
Rawr.
If you register at 11 o'clock at night, I'm going to be an angry bear. I'm probably not going to listen to you.
Rawr.
And that would kind of suck, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, what's the first thing we have to think about when we're trying to bring up or solve a conflict?
The issues in the conflict. There's several factors that are contributing to it. Probably the environmental factor of what time of day it is.
Very good. Time! Because if you pick a certain time to handle conflict, like everybody has their time when they're like the best behaved or the best able to listen. He thinks everything should get done in the evening because he's a bit of a night owl. I'm medication that runs out and want to go to bed. So obviously that's not the time to handle a conflict. Environment. If I'm trying to shove a bunch of food in my mouth, I don't know about you, but if I'm talking, it's going to spurt out and it probably isn't going to go so well for him.
No, it doesn't.
I'm sorry. You forgive me?
I suppose.
Okay, as long as you suppose. Alright, I wrote down notes so I keep on track a little bit. Alrighty. So, why shouldn't you be rushed when resolving a conflict?
Well, why should I not be rushed, or why should you not be rushed as the ADHDer?
A little bit of both.
Okay. One, I think part of the rush, from what I understand with ADHDers, is you've got your say your thoughts running at 100 miles an hour, but your mouth can only run at 10 miles an hour. And just getting those thoughts in sync, and definitely while we're trying to work on a conflict or have a conversation on something, I'm at point A and you're already at point Q.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Unfortunately for us, we resolve things really fast as ADHDers. Michael, for instance, he wanted to slow down and figure out the whole marriage thing, and do I want to get married? Am I having good reasons for getting married? I'm like, okay, I went through all these reasons in my head in 5 seconds, and we're good for each other. And that was after about 2 months. I knew I was going to marry you, which kind of scared him.
Yeah.
But I knew. It's kind of the joy of being an ADHD person. He was afraid it was about hyperfocus, but that's another topic. So, I think it's important to slow down the conflict so that he can catch up.
I'll admit to being a slow, methodical thinker.
Unfortunately, he likes to analyze everything. Sometimes he's right on this analyzing, but other times he makes this neat report that has no meaning, or yeah. He'll put meaning where meaning doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
We figured it out, though. Okay, next one. Take turns. Why is that important?
Well, to make sure both sides feel understood. Is this where you're going to bring up an Indian talking stick thing that I talked about or something?
Yes. So when you're talking, you have 2 choices. You can have an Indian talking stick, which in this case will be labored. So the one who holds the bird gets to talk. Now this could be a very good method, except for one thing. What is it?
ADHDers can go on and on and on, and people like me will listen and be polite and not interrupt, and 2 hours or 3 can go by and they're still talking.
So what kind of things do we have to do in addition to a talking stick?
One, I guess a bit of a rally in that, let ADHD needing to pause every now and then and get the other side to rephrase, and make sure things are understood.
So maybe a timer?
Yeah, timer might help.
The other thing that I think would help is while they're talking, you're allowed to interrupt only if you have questions or rephrasing to do about whatever they're talking about.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
Alright, next thing. Use I feel statements instead of puppets. Yeah. You annoy me! And you're annoying because you leave dishes all over the place! I'm not talking about you. This is an example. No. He's the good one. I'm the bad one. I'm pretending I'm someone without ADHD. Even though I look like I've definitely ADHD with this puppet. Maybe I should switch. Hold on a second. Give me that one. Yes, sometimes you have to innovate, right? All right. You annoy me. You leave dishes everywhere. And guess what?
What?
You need to clean up your act. How does this make a person feel?
Terrible. Worthless. I can't do anything right.
What else does it do? It builds a wall.
Rawr.
When you have a
And
wall.
oh yeah? Well, you don't do this all the time.
And it gets worse. The you statements.
Only you.
Anyway. Stop distracting me. I'm supposed to stay on top. I have notes. So, the only you statements, you did this, you do this, and you make me mad. Well, they're going to build up a big wall of defense. Like with spears and stuff. And they're going to shoot these little spears at you. Well, there you go. You found something to spear me with. Anyway, so, when you use I feel statements, what are you removing?
Probably removing some of the attack and singling out. And just showing how things affect you. And that it's your opinion on the matter and opening it up, I guess.
I like it. You've done well. This is why I don't give him a script. It makes him think. It's fabulous. Anyway, so, by figuring out how you feel about the situation you're putting it, this is how I feel. It doesn't mean that you're right or wrong. You could be wrong because you might have misinterpreted it. You might be right because they may have done it or whatever. But that way it goes, this is how I feel inside. It takes away, I blame you. Anyway, so, next one. Tone. How does tone affect things?
It gives meaning to the words and expressions that you're using.
Yep. And this can work in many different ways. I can say the same word or structure and make it sound different. I like chocolate.
I know you do.
I like chocolate!
Okay, here's some chocolate.
Chocolate. That doesn't have any chocolate in it.
Yes, you ate it all.
Anyway, so, what's the difference between those two tones?
One was happier than the other.
And when you use a really angry tone, when you're trying to resolve a conflict, what does it do?
It builds those walls. It launches barbs.
Why is that bad?
Because in a relationship, we shouldn't be launching attacks at each other. And it should be about having cooperation with each other.
I like it. So the biggest thing is, when you use a negative tone at somebody, it kind of hurts their ears.
Yeah.
And so, the louder he gets, the louder I get, which makes him get louder, which makes me get loud. I'm running out of room here.
We can get you a stool.
Excellent. So tone definitely matters. Let's just put it that way. All right, next thought.
And that's where sometimes it's important to take a quick break so that you can bring your tone and energy.
Ooh, like a
down.
timeout!
Yes, and we'll find a naughty chair for you too.
Naughty chair, I'm not 3. So, that's lesson number the next. Don't treat your partner like they're 3.
Okay, maybe 5.
I'd say more like 15. Deal? Alright, I'm officially at a teenage level. I'm kind of excited. Alright, so. State the problem. Why is it important to tell them why there's a problem?
Well, if you start arguing and stuff, we don't even know what you're talking about. So sometimes ADHDers just launch right into attacks, diatribes, and I have no idea. Okay, I know something's wrong by her tone, and her energy on the matter, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. So it goes back to, say, using a noun and as well as when you state the problem, the expression is stating the problem is half solved because you know what it is.
And what happens if I don't know what the problem is right away? What do you do? What are some things you do?
I illustrate the problem.
What?
Like, there are dishes in this room that shouldn't be here. Behold, said dish.
No. I understand this. I'm talking when I'm squawking a whole bunch, and you squished its head. Anyway, when I'm squawking a whole bunch and I don't quite know what my trouble is yet, I haven't gotten through my process to get to what it is. How do you help?
Well, I guess I'm the way you're describing it, it sounds like something that happened at work or whatever, and I try to get the story out of you. So what exactly happened or something like that?
Yeah, partially, or maybe I'm angry at you. But I don't know what I'm angry about, really. I'm saying, and this happened, and this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. And then Michael goes, okay, first of all, you sound hungry. Let's feed you.
Mm-hmm.
And then clarity happens, and all of a sudden, he goes, okay, what's really bothering you?
Yeah. Here's a tip for the non-ADHD spouse, which probably most of you already know. Feed the ADHDer, and make sure they're hydrated, because sometimes they just don't know that might be a problem. I'm not sure, I'm not trying to belittle or anything like that.
It's true.
But make sure that some of the basic needs, such as, are they fed? Do they have water to drink? Are they too hot, too cold?
Yeah, we don't regulate sometimes. Sometimes we're so hyper-focused on what we're working on or doing, we just forget about life in general.
Yeah. And these are important things that still puzzle me that, gee, how did you not know that you were hungry, that you weren't hungry, or that you...
One word, concerta.
Yeah.
No clue. Anyway, next trouble.
Water is your friend.
Water is your friend. Brainstorm together. Why is that important?
Gets us on the same team instead of opposing sides.
Yep, that's definitely a big one. The other thing that a lot of spouses run into the problem of, that I've noticed with just ADHD spouses, is they suddenly become the nagging mother. No, we're gonna switch now. Hey, nagging mother, what do they sound like?
Rawr! Stephanie, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? Oh, I see you can hyper-focus on that, but you can't take 5 minutes just to do...
All of a sudden, you become an adult, I become the little baby. Unfortunately, like it or leave it, we're an adult too. So if you treat us like a baby, what happens?
You act like a baby.
Arr! How dare you tell me to do all these things? I don't want to do these things. Screw you. I'm not doing anything you tell me to do, and that's it. And so it doesn't work very well.
No, it doesn't.
Things will get left. Things will not get done if you do it that way. One thing he's working on and getting better at, actually. Let's go do it together.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say it. Anyway, so the one thing that we always talk about together is let's go, because oftentimes, let's say I just get home from work, I'm definitely not in the mood to clean anything. Before work's better, but he has to wake up and yeah. Anyway, so the biggest thing to remember is brainstorming. Not just Michael going, and you will do it my way. What? And I can't say to Michael, but you'll do it my way either.
You'll do it my way.
I like this man. Anyway, so he's an individual. I'm an individual. So what does that mean in a marriage?
It's a union between two individuals.
So to be unionized, what kind of scenarios do we want?
Let's go do this together.
Partially, but win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Win for him, win for me. So let's say, I don't know, Michael wants me to grow some delicious vegetables. But I don't want to weed all by myself. So maybe I weed and he talks to me because he hates weeding. That helps.
Yeah.
He hates weeding. I'm good at weeding, I just don't have an attention span, so he sits and reads a book outside, and every time I try to leave the garden, he points and, "Get thee back there." Yeah. What do you think?
Maybe we'll try it this next gardening season.
Okay. Last gardening season was interesting. Anyhow, so working on win-wins. It doesn't have to mean if Michael wins, I lose, or if I lose, Michael wins. Didn't I say that the same way twice?
Probably. So Michael always wins. We got games nights.
Woo!
Michael usually wins.
However, beyond Michael winning, I want to win sometimes too. Doesn't have to be, well, for games, I guess, you know, there's not much I can do there. But, when we work together, as a team, we win.
Yep.
So, for instance, Michael wants to go to a keto on Wednesday.
Yep.
I have my mother over. It's a win. Michael wants to go to some weird conference. We figure out something for me to do. Like go shopping. What?
Yep.
Window shopping. I don't shop the whole time. So yes, win-win situations are what we want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you recommend to all those people who have an ADHD spouse to really diffuse conflict? He'll have to think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
But what I've learned from having a non-ADHD spouse is sometimes I get on his last nerve. And sometimes when I'm hyper-focused on something and he just wants out, I need to just let him go for a walk. Or let him go be manly. Because he can't be my girlfriend all the time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
That's the other thing I've learned about marriage and conflict. He does not complete all my needs. And he never will. Don't expect him to either. Why?
Because I can't possibly complete all the many needs that we as individuals have. Certainly, I do my best to complete the needs as husband, but I can't complete the needs of girlfriend, mother, teacher, coworker.
Yeah.
All sorts of, and all sorts of things that people need with their finance, spirituality, health and wellness. I can't be all things to all my wifey.
And I mean, the problem is if you expect them to take care of every need for you, you're gonna, have the worst life ever. Because it doesn't work that way. I've tried to let him take care of everything, all my needs, and it never worked. I thought at the beginning of our marriage, I gotta spend all my time with him. I have to sit with him. I have to watch him do his Aikido classes. I have to go for every walk with him. And then I learned he needs boy time.
I need to get away.
Get out! Not now.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, let your spouse have their time. Okay, that's your turn.
All right, is it time to wrap up and summarize?
Sure.
Okay.
Go for it.
You have the notes.
Let them be themselves. Resolve your conflicts by doing the following. Solve together. Because together means quicker solutions.
Synergy.
Sure. State your problem.
Yeah.
Use a nice tone. Use I feel versus you suck.
Okay.
Take turns. Don't rush the person. Pick a good environment and a good time.
Water. Make sure that they've had a drink of water.
Make sure their zen is completely good. That means follow their basic needs, their holistic model. Like, let's see, physical needs, psychological, spiritual needs, physical, like, exercise needs.
Yeah.
Social needs, emotional needs.
Yeah, everyone has needs, but we can't be expected to fill all of them. But we can certainly help point them in directions that'll help them get those needs met.
I'm Stephanie.
I'm Michael.
We got rings.
Yep.
Now you can see his. And we hope that you've learned something from our lovely show.
Or at least been entertained with puppets.
The end.
The end.